What's up, everybody?
Hi, welcome back.
Episode 30.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody hanging out.
For all 30 episodes.
All 30 episodes.
Or 10 or 5, whenever you stumbled upon us.
Yeah, if you haven't watched all 30, like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I know. Anytime I talk to people about watching the podcast, I mean, I have to tell them the Brazilian wax. Like, that one was so funny. If you haven't heard it or seen it.
That's... When I go and edit all the podcasts, I always try to mark all the stuff put on social media. And, like, that one I was just cackling. I think I was, like, in bed. And I'm, like, editing in bed. And I'm just, like, Greg's asleep. And I'm just like, oh, my God, so stupid.
It's hard being so funny. One of my friends I work with was trying to give us, ideas for episodes.
Right.
And we were in the bathroom, as girls do in the bathroom. They talk to each other through the stalls. She said, hey, you guys should do an episode on waxing. And I kind of sat there for a minute and I'm like washing my hands, as you should do when you're done in the bathroom, a little washy, wash. And I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm pretty sure we have.
Right.
And then that was the week that we announced it. And I actually went up to her and I was like, you have to watch it.
Yeah, because I think we had filmed it and then we had just waited a couple weeks because we had a couple to put out. And I tried to time them for like, I don't know, I don't want to put it out on like Christmas or whatever. So I think we just had a couple weeks and you were like, we should do this. And I'm like, oh yeah, we already did it. It's so good.
It was
so
good. Especially because I just had such a great mix of people all come up to me, whether they were straight, gay, single, in a relationship.
Yeah.
And to have like other gay men come up to me and go, girl, I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
I was right there with your brother.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone's support on my ignorance. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not supposed to, like, pay attention to girl coochies and stuff. That's not part of my deal.
Well, you chose your team. Your team, that's not part of the homework.
Yeah.
You don't need to learn girls' feminine routines necessarily.
I've learned a lot, though, on the podcast. I mean, tampons, periods, all of the pussy stuff.
Well, and for those of you who didn't listen to that episode, we basically uncovered that a bikini wax is the front. And a Brazilian is, as we have coined, bumper to bumper, front to back.
All of it. But yeah, I mean, I just get stuff off TV. I mean, that's where I get all my pussy knowledge.
You're so weird. You are so fucking weird. Just in case any of you are watching on YouTube, if you happen to see the top of my pants are unbuttoned, it is because I made the fatal mistake today as a woman. I wore my standing pants for sitting. So the struggles of being a woman.
I'm always like nervous that I'm going to like wear the same shirt twice on the podcast as if anybody gives a shit.
How dare you do laundry.
Yeah, I'm like, well, that's the thing. I Curb Your Enthusiasm had a thing with outfit tracking. And like, I remember in high school, we talked about this before, but just like not wearing the same things over and over again. But I also feel like that's such a, like big detergent, they're like, well, you wore your shirt one time, you got to wash, like. Back in the day...
I'm sorry. Did you say big detergent?
Big detergent, yeah. Big
As
Tide.
In like big pharma?
Yeah, big detergent.
Okay. All right, we'll go with it.
Okay, I'll back up a little bit further. But people use too much fucking soap. You know what I mean?
Right. You're supposed to use, I think, a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Like literally a tablespoon.
They have a big-ass cup. I would never use. That's so much. But so I was reading online and they said that their numbers went up crazy when they started getting people to use that much because everyone's running out and buying more. Same with fabric softener.
Or toothpaste. You're supposed to use the smallest amount of toothpaste and you just burn through it.
Yeah, and they got that big ass curly Q and shit. But I'm not a scientist, but fabric softener, that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Why? We don't need fabric softener.
Well, back in the day, before we knew how fucking many chemicals are in things.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're like smoking a cigarette with your baby, doing laundry, doing all the, soap, fabric softener, all the things. It's insane. Back in the day, they used to use this cleaner that would go in your cooch. It was like a bleach, chlorine. You're basically using chlorine, and they have this commercial, this old school commercial in the 50s where they're like, use this and it'll keep you squeaky clean. It's like, what?
But they did the Coke thing. They'd be like I was watching, this is where I also get my knowledge from. So I was watching the show Carnival. It's been out for like 20 years maybe. But the show took place in like the 20s or 30s.
Okay.
And there's a family of like sex workers and they have like a tent and she's like, here, go use a Coke bottle and clean your coochie out. She's like, okay. They didn't show it, but it's just like, that's just the stupid shit they used to do. When we were talking about people wearing the same clothes, like they used to take a big basket of clothes. They'd be like, get out of their wagon and go down to the river and wash the shit in the river. And they'd be like, okay, your clothes are washed. And then you're not doing that shit every day. You'd have to like rewear some shirts. And I feel like there's this stigma where we wear one shirt half a day. It's like, oh my God, it's so dirty. Same with pants. You just wash your pants every single day.
I know some people that wash their jeans every single time they wear them. So coming from working in fashion, I learned at a very young age, like with denim. If you don't know this, denim, like any pant, you're supposed to wash it inside out because when you're in the washing machine, there's all the friction. Everything's rubbing against each other. So over time, you wash your jeans, let's say 75 times in the, history, in the lifespan that you have those pants, the wash is going to fade. So I had one manager say, as soon as her pants get really stretched out, she just buys new ones. Because for a girl, hence my tight pants today that have been washed, like there's no stretch. So the more you wear denim, the more it relaxes. But then over time, it's just too stretched out. So you got to give it a good little hot wash and then a dry.
So I had a friend that was saying that like denim enthusiasts will never wash denim. So like if you're like into like denim jeans, like the 501s, whatever, and you collect denim, they say you're never supposed to wash it ever.
That's fucking gross.
Yeah, but you can take the jeans and you can put them like in the freezer. There's ways to like disinfect them, but there's a whole thing where people are like, you're not supposed to wash denim. Now, again, if I'm at work or I'm running around, I'm sweating, there's no getting rid of that. But.
I think of boys and like stinky ball sweat. The freezer, sorry, might kill the germs. It is not helping with that fucking stink.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, if you're like in love with denim, then maybe...
You got to be in love with something else. Let me just cut it to you straight. But even for people who do vintage, like, let's scale it back a little bit.
Yeah, I just find it weird that like we care so much about what people wear.
Well, I think when it comes to school, a lot of it is, oh, you went home and fell asleep in that outfit and you wore it again.
Right.
That's I think. But again, it's like, who gives a shit?
Who cares?
Have one coat, like you should wear that coat all the time. If you have
like,
one coat.
oh, you wearing the same jacket?
Well, I told you that when I started my not so new job anymore, but when I switched over coming from luxury fashion, I was like, yo, these cats are wearing the same shoes every day. What? And then as time goes on, you're like, oh, awesome. I only have to have one pair of pants. I only need one pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Because you're not a walking mannequin if you're not working in fashion.
Yeah. Well, I tend to do one pair of shoes and that's it until they wear down.
I feel like that's less weird because for the most part, shoes are expensive. I think the crazy thing is the collecting, right? So I dated the custom shoe painter. He wore like two pairs of shoes. He wore like two pairs of shoes, but he painted on so many things and would send them out. And so I don't know if there was this huge appeal, but like the thing that is crazy to me and I've seen videos of is when you hold on to your stuff for so long, it deteriorates. So people have gone to wear their, Jordans, the Jordan 2s or something from, a while ago that they basically have this mint box and they go to wear it and the fucking sole pops off,
Because the compression of the sole keeps it lasting longer. But yeah, I never understand the shoe collecting. I mean, I get it. You're collecting shoes. They only come out a certain time, whatever. But like they're in a box. You can't see them,
Well, some people do like again, you're investing on stuff to like a whole wall of the plastic bins from Amazon that you put your shoes in so you can see them all.
If you have bins, but
to each his own. We won't yuck your yum if you love the shoes.
Also, I mean, I don't, people that collect comics don't have them on display. But I wish that there was a way that people could like display their shoes.
What I've heard of people doing is they take pictures in all their outfits and then they make stickers on their phone. So then that way they know what their whole wardrobe is. That's also doing a lot. Yeah. That's also doing. If you're someone like me, I have like, God, we're talking about consumerism. I have like 10 of the same style pant. I have like 15 of the same style shirt like this. If you're just tuning in.
Yeah, but I guess if you like something. And you see value.
Yeah, but at what point? Yeah. I told one of my friends a while ago, I have so many sweatshirts and zip ups and jackets again, as you can tell, that I could literally wear a different sweatshirt probably every day for like 2, maybe 3 months. Dang. A different jacket, a different overlayer. Yeah, we live in Oregon, but like it's insane.
Yeah, Greg has a lot of shoes, but not like fancy shoes. He just has a certain kind of shoe that he likes to
Variety.
wear. Yeah. And then my favorite thing though is when we go traveling, he always tries to get some new shoe or like pack some dumbass sandal or just anytime you're going on a trip, it is not the time to break in a shoe. It's not. You need to break that shit in like 2 weeks early. You need to wear it around the house because what happens is the little back of your heel going to get rubbed off.
Oh, absolutely.
Or part of your fucking foot on the inside is going to get a blister because the shoes aren't formed to your feet. And now to circle back, that's kind of why I like one pair of shoes because my feet are really bad anyway. My knees are really bad. So once my feet are kind of good in that sole, I feel like they relax a little bit. It's more comfortable. Mm-hmm. Anytime I get a new shoe, I feel like all the little tendons in my foot are like, ugh.
Learning how to do it.
And it feels weird.
Okay. So he who shall not be named, Pete Davidson, when we first started talking and he took his birthday trip, we were on the phone. And I think I talked to him the whole time that he was on that trip. It was really cute. And when he went, he was like, hey, I'm walking like miles a day.
Right.
And he was in some dumb fucking loser pair of shoes. And I remember being on the phone with him when he went into Foot Locker and bought a new pair of shoes, right? And so he, probably he got a pair of 270s Nikes. They're really cute. And I asked him, I was like, well, what are you going to do with your old shoes? He goes, well, I'm just going to leave them somewhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's in New Orleans. So like he leaves the shoes, bitch. He leaves the shoes on a garbage, right? Like it's like in Portland. If you're ever in Portland, like people leave shit on the street for someone else to just collect.
Right.
Like I've actually got some really cool pieces of furniture because people are like, I'm moving out, peace. You want this shelf? And stuff's just out there. So sometimes, like I've had an old record player. I just put that out on the street, came out literally 10 minutes later, gone.
Yeah.
So people want to capitalize on that. Well, he goes into, I think it was a convenience store or something to find me a shot glass or something. He comes out and a houseless person was in his shoes. Like instantaneously.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way. And he's like, wait a minute. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, I swear to God, like, I'm pretty sure I just passed someone like wearing my shoes. And I was like, no way. And he goes, I swear to God, it's the same shoe, the same style. Pretty sure he had no socks on.
But like he left them for somebody?
Yeah, but the turnaround time.
Okay.
He goes into a store to buy, whatever.
Well, you can't sleep on that. If you're like
true.
needing shoes, you're not going to think about it.
That's true.
And you probably don't even care if the size fits. You're just like, this is close enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, living in Portland, being close to Nike, like my homegirl, there was a pair of blazers that I really wanted. Nike blazers, they're white. They have, cheetah print swoosh.
Yeah.
I used to see a girl who worked across from me at the mall who had them. And so when I looked them up before, they're like $280, like $300.
Dang.
No, I will not. And you could gift those to me, which is where we're going. We'll get there. Trust me. We'll get there. And my homegirl calls me and she's like, hey, those cheetah print blazers you want? She's like, they have them on this site. You want them? And I was like, yeah. Like, she goes, okay, they only have them in a size 9, but they're $30. And I was like, I'm sorry, did you say 30? That's it? I go, girl, I'll take those shoes in a size 13 for $30.
Yeah.
And so I wear them. They're slightly bigger. I do double up on socks, but like, what a come up. It's the thrill of the deal.
Yeah.
I think living in Portland, being around so many shoes, like, unless it is something, and I don't know how it even works to buy a fucking sneaker anymore. I don't know.
You go in and you give them money and they give you the sneaker.
No, bitch. You have to go to like a different website. You have to
like online?
You have to have an app. You get into I don't know how you put your name in a fucking lottery.
Oh yeah,
for the size of the shoe that you want
for like brand new shit.
And then maybe you get them, maybe you don't. So I'll be at work and people are like, man, I didn't get them, or someone else will get them, but it's a different size.
Yeah, because what happens is there's all the people reselling, and so what would happen is like downtown they'll have a sneaker drop or whatever they call it. At 9 a.m, and people line up with like 50 people and they'd buy as many sizes and then they go resell them. And then you're like, well, I'm just little old me trying to get a shoe. And then you're shit out of luck. And then if you want to rebuy them, the value goes up.
Right.
So now they do the lottery. They did that for Burning Man. And I think it was Coachella one year.
Yeah.
They did a lottery. Maybe just Burning Man. But yeah, everyone was pissed because like how how's that work?
Right.
You know, and then they ended up, I think they ended up like having to redo some stuff, or like people weren't able to get tickets who go every year.
Right.
But now like Coachella and Burning Man, like you log onto their website and it randomly gives you a place in line. And then you basically just sitting there waiting for everybody to get their tickets. And so like if you have a computer at home that's like on the website and it loads up for tickets for you to buy and you don't do it, then after 10 minutes, it just drops you off.
Right.
And so I feel like for the most part, it's easy to get tickets, but.
Well, we also live, you know, being in Portland, we have Nike campus, like the whole fucking Nike campus, where they used to have reserved parking spaces for like Michael Jordan had a reserved parking space 24/7 at Nike, right?
I have one there. It's a handicap.
Bitch, you're so fucking stupid. But like, if you're not from Portland, the draw of like the employee store where you go in, you get a discount, like Adidas. We have the Adidas headquarters. Like it's crazy, but local secret, go to your fucking Goodwill, man. I have found so many one-of-a-kind sneakers at Goodwill.
Really?
Because they were worn in a photo shoot or someone's got them. You know they're one-of-a-kind because they'll have Sharpie on the inside. They won't have like normal tags. Yeah. It's dope.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. I also find it weird because like we grew up here that I didn't even know like the Nike campus was here until like I was older and I was like, oh yeah, whatever. And like, no, the headquarters is here because everything feels like it's in like LA or New York.
That shit is crazy. Nike campus is fucking crazy. I like can't even describe to you.
I don't even think I've
how
been there.
Fucking crazy Nike campus is. I went there for a job interview, but Nike is fucking savage. So living in the vicinity, right? We have people who you're either in town for Intel or Nike.
Yeah.
And to get people that come in, you know, at my job and I run across people and they're like, oh, I work for Nike. And I go, you get into the gym? Because that's the tell. If you're the black card Nike employee, if Nike employs you, you get to go work out at that gym. If not, you're contracted, which Nike is fucking savage. So my homegirl is contracted. She works for Nike, but she doesn't have the black card to get her into the gym.
And what's in the gym? It's just like big ass
It's a fucking Nike gym. What are you talking about? Nike gym? That's crazy. I want to go there. But like that was like when, you know, this guy wanted to date me who was, you know, worked on some kind of shoe there, whatever. Yeah. And he kept inviting me to come walk around the Nike campus. I was like, bitch, I done been there. Like that's not, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, you work there? You know what would impress me if you told me you worked at Nike, that you have a fucking paid parking space at Nike. But that's the worst. No.
But also it's like, wow, grass, building. Like what the fuck do they have there?
You don't understand. It is fucking insane. It is like a college campus. It'd be like a college university campus.
Yeah.
Every building is fucking incredibly beautiful. They're all somewhat different than the other ones. I will tell you, it's like you're at a fucking amusement park because you have to walk up and like either know where you're going or find something that gives you navigation. Now, do you want to walk on the paved path to get to this crazy building that's fucking half a mile away? Or do you want to walk on the trail that's fucking bark dust, right? Bitch, they have a water feature. All I knew was I had to get to this one building that was way the fuck over there and it was really tall. And I just was like, well, I guess in my fucking flats, I'm going to trudge through this trail. Yeah. And the thing that's crazy about Nike is if you apply for a job there, do you wear Nike sneakers? Do you wear Nike clothes? Do you wear a dress outfit? So that was kind of what, you know, I ended up talking about in the interview. And we were kind of laughing about it. And I was like, man, like I didn't know what to wear. I felt weird wearing my luxury jacket that was not Nike. I had my Lululemon jacket that I wore from where I worked at before. I outfitted a lot of Nike husbands and Nike wives to executives where they can't wear anything that shows a logo of a different company. So when I was there, I was a little nervous. I know, especially Nike gym. That's why this kid wanted me to go to the fucking gym with him. But I asked him, I was like, what do I wear? I don't have any Nike stuff. He's like, oh, you can wear whatever you want. Bitch, no, you can't.
Yeah.
I asked him, I go, what do you wear? He goes, oh, I wear a shirt and some shorts. And I'm like, that's one of the things about there. You have to respect the brand. You have to wear Nike when you're there. That's crazy. He goes, yeah, but if anyone ever says anything, I'm just, and I'm like,
I mean, okay, yeah.
It's
When you're
crazy.
working for Nike and you're making money, like you should love the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
your company makes, unless like jeans, you know. But like, how are you going to roll up to work without Nike shoes?
Right. And I
Out
think
of all of the shoes they make, you don't have one that you can wear to work?
it's the workout stuff.
Yeah.
It's the what are you sweating in? What are you like working out
yeah.
in, right? What's your favorite workout shoe? Like what pants are you working out in?
Right.
What top, what bra? That's where my brain came from luxury fashion, where I worked with a manager who goes, I need you in 5 things. 5. Don't care what 5 things they are. Need you in 5 things from the brand. And that was how my
Dang.
mentality went moving forward, because I go, oh, okay. I'm going to wear stuff that I have available on the floor, because people walk in, they go, I want that outfit. And you go, bet, I'll ring you up. It's
Yeah,
$450. Perfect. Let's get you at the register.
But if you don't work at the place, that would be, when you're like, oh, I got a job interview at Nike. What do I wear? I mean,
Stuff with no logo.
yeah, you want to do like no logo stuff, because you don't want to go in with a big ass 3-stripe Adidas.
You couldn't.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm
it
sure-
seems tone deaf.
I remember when I was younger and mom talked about working at Nordstrom's, and she said this is my Roman Empire. All right. This lives with me all the time. She said that when people would come in to drop off a resume, they had, I don't know if it was a number system or like a symbol system, but mom told me when people would come in and give you their resume, she'd flip it over and she'd write what you were wearing. Like whether or not you were dressed to impress,
Right.
or whether or not you were just trying to do your unemployment due diligence. You just got to apply at 3 places a week.
Yeah.
And so I think about that all the time. Like when you go to apply, like at a restaurant, oh man, especially in Portland, let me give you guys all a tip. And it's crazy to me that this isn't fucking common knowledge, like genuinely. If you want to be a server or a bartender or even a busboy, dish boy,
Right.
the time to not go apply and ask for a manager is when there's customers in the store
Right,
at all,
right.
but when they're busy.
Yeah.
We'd have people that would come up, they're like, hey, you got a manager? And we would be like rail slammed, customers everywhere, and someone wants to like give me a resume. I go, oh, hey, yeah, I'll take it from you. And they're like, okay, great. And they hand it to me and we'd literally throw it in the trash. Like before they even walk out, we'd throw it in the trash.
Dang.
Yeah.
Can you even do that?
No, we totally like didn't do that. No,
The trash.
absolutely.
Yeah, that was our bin for the. No, I mean
we would do that regularly.
It makes sense. I mean, you're just like, come on, man.
But it just shows the forward thinking of
Yeah.
like where you're gonna be. It's also a respect thing. Granted, when you go and apply at a job, like when I got hired at my luxury fashion job, I had nothing. I borrowed one of my best friend's jackets to wear, like a little tie, like pea coat, but not. And I was in like 2 pairs, like I had doubled up on like Forever 21 leggings. So it was black, but whatever.
Right.
And so like you have to dress to him. You got to fake it till you make it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and then I ended up getting that job. And then once I got all the clothes, you're like, oh, this is great. You have
Yeah,
to basically
yeah.
dress for the job that you want.
Yeah, but
Not
then
the
some
job that you
places
have.
don't want you to overdress. A lot of people would do like the suit and tie, thinking that it's going to impress, But if you're going to like Wetzel's Pretzels,
Yeah.
even if you're going for like a manager job, like sometimes I feel like you can overdress.
You can.
And
It really depends
it feels
on.
kind of disingenuous, or like you're stretching.
Well, it really just depends on like how formal is formal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're listening to this and you're on the cusp of like what to wear, nothing wrinkly ever.
Just nothing.
Nothing wrinkly. Yeah, just full naked. I mean, oh my God, that would work out so well for me, kind of depending. No, you just put some time into caring. Like
Yeah.
if you don't have clothes and you don't have an iron, I saw recently on social media, like hot pan, you boil it, you put it over your clothes and it fucking irons it.
Just wash your pan off, man. You're going to rub oil grease all over
Yeah,
your
right. And you just smush it on your button up. You don't have to be overly dressed. You just have to look like you give a shit. Like genuinely.
Yeah, the crinkled up shirts.
Just in general.
Just
This is a little triggering from like stories we talked about before with fucking gross ass clothes.
But I think it's important because you get that first impression. You want to look good.
I was talking with a coworker about how something that makes me feel good, and I think it's from mom and dad, was I like doing my partner's laundry. I don't mind
Yeah.
it. For me, it's an acts of service thing. It's the same thing. Like I'm that bitch that will pack your fucking lunch. I will make you coffee. I will hide notes in places. I will tell you to go to your backpack while you're at work, and there'll be a fucking note in the very bottom of it. Forward thinking,
Yeah.
I plan.
I like doing that stuff.
Well, yeah. And so
I like doing our laundry because Greg shrinks all my shirts. Would you have talked about this before? But
it's a very,
he'd be like, "Oh, I helped. I put everything in the dryer." I'm like, "No."
And you just pull out little baby shirts. They're just so small.
I wear 2X, and when I sit down, if my stomach shows or my butt, if it lifts up in the back, I cannot wear it. I hate it.
A little whisper.
Yeah, and so I never dry my shirt. So any amount of drying, it basically shrinks the arm. So then my armhole like way up here, I hate it. And if it's too tight in the stomach, I'm just like, well, that shirt's done now.
Hang it on the wall.
Yeah,
But I mean, like art.
I like to be in control of the laundry.
Well, I like to do it because I know it takes something off of like my partner's plate. And so I used to say like every Thursday was laundry day with Pete Davidson, and I loved it. And he came home and it was like we got time to be able to hang out more, but then also the appreciation that, you know, you have, again, that forward thinking to plan for later.
So Alexa will do your laundry if you fuck her.
Nah, it's not true. No, because honestly, I get mad when I have to like do laundry and change my sheets.
It's weird because if you're like at your friend's house and you're like pet sitting or doing whatever, and you're just like, I'll just tidy up a little bit. And you're like, no big deal, you know? But if it's like, oh, I got to tidy up my living room, you're just like, fuck.
I saw recently that someone said that you can get through cleaning at your house if you pretend that you're working at someone else's house and that it's your job to clean up.
That's
the biggest success, I think, is setting a timer. Whether you're not that bitch. I'm type A. Like my house is always fucking spotless for the most part.
Well, we talk a lot when we're cleaning. So if I'm talking to you on the phone, then I'm like, all right, I'll go pick up dog poop, or I'll go do this, or I'll go do some stupid shit that I didn't want to do.
Well, it tricks your brain for the executive function. So when I was doing my makeup, getting ready this morning, Ryan was like, well, I got to go do some stuff. I went, hey, bitch, if you get off the phone with me, my executive function will stop and I will not make it over. And he goes, all right, fine.
Well, I wasn't going to do anything crazy. I was just like, I like to kind of get everything ready before we film. So, but yeah, I very much like if I have to do something dumb, I'm like, all right, let me see if somebody wants to talk to me because that'll make it so much nicer.
Or they say like talking to people in the car, like makes you drive better. I know we've talked about this before. One time when I was working with this gentleman. He was really nice, finished everything work related. And then at the very end, he goes, are you single? And I was like, yes, I am. And he was like, you're really cute. Can I have your number? And I was like, oh, that's very straightforward.
Right.
It was really professional because I'm not getting preyed on. He's not waiting for me outside my job for me to get off. Like it just was a very seamless, like, hey, are you single? It felt really nice, really genuine. And then my ploy is whether I'm allowed to give someone my number at work or not, like restaurants, there's no rule written in stone that you can't give someone your number, but I would tell people I'm not allowed to give people my number.
Yeah.
And then when you come back later and you give them your number, you're like, shh, don't fucking tell anyone. And then they feel super special.
Yeah.
So similar thing happened. I go, hey, I'm not allowed to give out my number at work. And he was like, okay, it would just be really nice. Like, I'd love to take you out to dinner. And so then I gave him my number. Here, take my number. Don't tell it. Like, don't get me in trouble. Winky, wink, wink. When really, like, it doesn't matter. And it's funny because we talk about shoes and you want to talk about fucking crazy consumerism. He has over 100 pairs of shoes. 100. 100. Seen photo confirmation, saw it in person.
Right.
Insane, right? You just have a gajillion sneakers. You're like, this is crazy that you, one, have that much money.
Right.
And when I'm working, because I am so self-aware, I'm always clocking like what you're wearing. Like coming from luxury fashion, working in luxury fashion, there is so much I can learn about you just from meeting you. And it's not me being judgmental, but it's just me kind of getting a sliding scale of what you're wearing. Like, are you going to come into my store and you're in a bunch of labels that I recognize? Are you going to come in and you're wearing all Nike? I'm like, okay, you either love Nike or you work at headquarters, right? So there's a sliding scale. And so when I look at accessories and you have like really nice shit on, you have a really nice like cross bag, you have really nice shoes on, shoes that I've never seen before, that's a big tell.
Yeah.
And then also jewelry. So if you notice, like I always will notice like watches, it just, again, it's something that I can tell that you pride yourself on. It's good for me to just kind of like get a vibe. And when we were talking, We're doing a little texty text because, again, you have to be able to like court a girl. You can't just get her your number and be like, hey, you want to come over and want to fuck? So this happened many moons ago. And the reason why this is important was because it was really snowy. I basically was iced in my apartment, couldn't drive anywhere. I want to say within 24 hours of having my number goes, hey, I would love to take you out to sushi. When are you free? And you're like, oh my gosh, like a direct plan. Like, especially after what we just talked about, like you're giving me your intention. You're giving me a time frame. Like, even if there's not a romantic, connection, you can still respect someone being super direct, even if it's a friendship, right?
Well, it's just like, sometimes it's nice to have somebody be a little forward like that. Mm-hmm. Like one of my friends in New York will literally be like, hey, are you attracted to me? Is there anything here? And it's just weird because it's like, it can be a little off-putting sometimes when somebody's like literally like, is there a chemistry between us? Is it worth, because then he's like, yeah, and then I know where to file it. Right.
Matching that energy.
But sometimes it's like, oh shit, this person wants to go out like tomorrow, but.
So knowing knowing the intention, this was a while ago when my car wasn't really running great. And we talk about Nike living out by Nike headquarters. Like, it's still a little bit of a drive.
Right.
And so I was talking with someone about this because he offered to send me an Uber from there to the restaurant or to his place, kind of depending on, how I felt.
Right.
And so it was really nice. And I was really flattered because had he not done that or offered that, I wouldn't have gone on the date with him. I physically wouldn't have been able to. And I didn't want to be like, I'm not going
to take the bus.
Hey, so my cute little go-kart won't make it out there, so can't hang out. So it's just nice to kind of have that as an option.
Well, to fill people in who don't live here, anytime there's any snow or ice, our city doesn't do anything. Like, yeah, maybe they just recently started salting roads, but like, it's insane. You can't even drive. All the roads here are so horrible. So anytime there's snow, ice, or the snow turns into smushed ice on the roads, it's like, good luck.
And in Portland, it happens like not necessarily every year, but it's like every other year. It's really bad. Yeah. So, I mean, unless you don't live in a neighborhood and you live on a direct street, I would say Oregon, especially in the last several years, it's been really snowy. Yeah. It's been like, even when there's a fucking whisper of snow, it's like the whole town shuts down.
Well, we went out to Chicago and it snowed and they like just had the shit taken care of.
Yeah.
When I was in New York, I go to New York a lot. Everyone just get up and snow shovel the roads and then that was it. And everybody could get around. And I'm like, good God, man. It snows a lot in Portland, enough every year where people like get stuck on the freeway, where everybody gets stuck at work because it started snowing at like 3 p.m. And it's just like, can we just not have anyone die when it snows? Because it's completely avoidable. Anyway, just to fill everyone in on how shitty it is.
I would say this is before the Pete Davidson thing where like I got to talk on the phone for like 6 hours and like feel super comfortable to where he would like want to come pick me up. Like this was something where it was very nice because it was really direct, right? So I understand like when you talk about dating apps and guys are like, oh, girls just give me the runaround. And it's like, well, I'm not going to hang out with you 5 minutes after we match. That's how you get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
But then also giving someone my number and knowing that it's not kind of this back and forth thing and that he wants to get to know me, wants to go on a date. And I was like, oh, okay, like, let's do it.
Right.
Wow. So it was cute. He has a very nice car, several very nice cars. The one of which was a G-Wagon that we went to the date. As I learned on the drive there, G-Wagons are military vehicles, and I guess some really high up
whatever
person got one, and he's like, I want a G-Wagon. And then they kind of became this luxury car when they were designed for the military. I'm not going to lie. They're not that cool. If you have one, good for you.
Yeah,
that means you worked
give
hard.
Us one, oh my God.
Oh my gosh, yeah, G-Wagon, pdExes G-Wagon. But like that was what Mac Miller said was one of his biggest regrets. I can't remember what talk show he was on, but he basically said his biggest regret was buying a G-Wagon. He goes, I don't know why I didn't lease it. He's like, I'm paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to buy this car. They're cool from the outside, but like, what's the point?
But that's like most cars. I mean, like,
I don't know. I drove the Mercedes in San Diego and that felt luxurious.
I've been in my friend had a Rolls Royce and we rode around that stupid ass car. I mean, it was cool, but like,
Because those are the ones that have the star ceiling.
Yeah.
That's
and it was,
crazy.
I mean, it was nice, but also I was like so nervous when he was driving it around.
Right.
So I'm like, man, I don't want anyone to hit you. And then literally everybody, we're in Miami, everyone was like honking and like thumbs up and shit. And it was like, it's a cool car. It was comfy, but I was just so nervous that I was going to like scratch a seat or bump his car door. So it's like the risk versus reward was not cool for me. And I'm just like, sure, if you have the money, get one. But I'll just take a nice Honda,
Right.
an electric car.
Yeah, I'll just take something with the
supple,
payment is all paid
yeah,
off.
But that's a big thing with like, I mean, you lease a car, you basically have to pay for the depreciation. So you have to do like a good down payment. But then also like, if you're a rapper or someone famous, you're not buying these cars to like, well, this is going to get my family around for 20 years.
Right.
You know, like you just need something cute and flashy and in the moment. And then you can get something else cute and flashy, you know, because everything that you see that's available now in 5 years, you're going to think it looks shitty. Computers, phones, cars, clothes. You're like, oh my God, this car. And then 5 years, people will be like, the car sucks. So you had your first date. You were sent a little carriage to come collect you. And then where do you guys go? What did he pick out for you?
So he sent in Uber. He gave me the option. He's like, I can meet you at the restaurant. He's like, I'll Uber you there. He goes, or you can Uber to my place. We'll drive there. And I was like, I can wait. I could go there to the restaurant, but I also don't want to like be early or like, you know what I mean? And so in that moment, I was like, okay, like Uber me to your place. I also wanted to fucking see, because if you talk about having nice shit, I want to fucking see it.
Right.
And so I remember getting there and he's like, perfect, let me grab my stuff, grabs his keys. And I really didn't even go in, which was, nice, because I'm not necessarily like,
right.
Well, come on, let me show you around in my bedroom. Like, fucking learn that lesson.
That's a hard
been
first
there
sale.
before.
Because even as a girl, you're like, I guess I'll just see what the bed looks like. And then all of a sudden you guys are like,
hard pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass. So then he goes in, he opens his garage, and then fucking outbacks this G-Wagon. And I was like, all right. So that all checks out. Well, we went to the dumbest sushi fucking restaurant, dude. It was so dumb. I like can't even sugarcoat it. It was so dumb. The sushi was very fucking shitty. I have always kind of joked about being a bad Japanese person. I am a quarter.
We're quarter Japanese.
And I'm not great with texture when it comes to like salmon or like anything nigiri. It's not my favorite. And I don't necessarily want to be sitting at a sushi table with you and tell you that I don't like probably like 60% of what's on the menu.
Right.
So it was funny because I told my bestie, he ordered like salmon nigiri, which is rice with like the raw salmon on top. And he kept giving me some to try. And I'm not going to be that bitch that gets clocked. And so I was eating it and like trying not to fucking vomit at the same time because the texture, it was so gross. It was
Fish
so
will
gross.
make me gag. I remember when I was younger, our dad gave me some swordfish and I just immediately gagged. I don't know. I mean, it's just fish. But I just remember just being like, like, and that texture, like oysters, there's certain slimy fish texture. And for whatever reason, it just hits me in the back of the throat. And I'm like, bleh.
Here's the thing. I know that when I hear myself speak, it sounds really high maintenance, but it's all the end goal, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to flex on me, take me to a place, again, where we can sit in a booth and have a conversation.
Right.
I don't just need to go fucking soothe my hunger craving with you. That's fucking dumb. I'm getting to know you. I'm already nervous, so I'm not even going to eat anyways. I ate before the date. We've covered this before. Right. And so we're sitting there and we walk in and it's like a fucking diner. It doesn't, I'll give you a turnstile. You want to go to a turnstile? That at least gives me a little bit of free.
But they're all done. They're all gone now since COVID. There's a few. I've seen a few, but like some of my go-to ones in Portland are gone now, which sucks, but whatever. I only like to get like like California rolls and spring rolls. Man, they have them on the green plate, which was $1. I'd be like, you need to get like 10 of these plates because all I want to do is eat these fucking spring rolls that are a bargain because it was $1 for like 2. And just like fry them up, bitch.
So we walk into the place and I'm dressed really cute. He's in a really nice outfit. He smells really good. Although I will say the fragrance was fucking overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like overwhelming. Like I should not hug you and my face fucking stinks like you for hours, right?
Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah.
We show up to the restaurant. It was really like getting there was really cute. And once we walked in, like we're in some fucking random place in Beaverton that's like almost strip mall vibes.
Right.
We walk in, there's a fucking jingle when you open the door to walk in, which I'm always like, this is already bad. So we walk in, he's like, where do you want to sit? And this young kid comes and grabs us and sits us at this fucking table. And it was like, all I wanted to do was go, hey, can we sit in that fucking booth over there in the corner?
Right.
It got bad so fast to where I just was like, all right, cool. I'm just kind of like waiting for this to be done now. And it wasn't like we had like this crazy amount of conversation. I do remember having to talk about my dead mom while I was at fucking dinner because he's asking me questions about my mom dying and how she got cancer in both of her boobies. It just was fucking weird, right?
Yeah.
And so then the fucking kid who sat us came down to tell him that he loved his outfit. Hey man, I love your outfit. Because he's in a masking tape Balenciaga sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
It was cute. It looked like real masking tape.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
I give it to Balenciaga. Bitch, when I got home that night, I looked up that fucking sweatshirt. That sweatshirt is $1,400. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
He complimented him on his outfit. And then when the kid walks away, I was like, oh, that was cute. And he's like, yeah, but young kids, like they just see nice brands. Like they don't understand the work ethic it takes to get you the money to be able to buy stuff like this. Right? Well, just because you have money doesn't mean that you have taste.
yeah.
So that date was okay. I kind of gave it a wash because the weather was so shitty.
Yeah.
After that date, it was really cool. You do get a little bit of the stars in your eyes because you're around so much money. But as I've mentioned before, and we'll cover this X at some point, but he's like a whole season and a half worth of content. Just because you have money, like, doesn't mean you're going to be happy. It doesn't mean you're going to be fulfilled. Like, your bills will be paid, sure, but like, at what, like, what are you being fulfilled with? So you're like, oh my gosh, like, I just hung out with a guy who has a bunch of Rolexes and like all these name brands. And like, you're like, oh, cool. And then in my head, I go, okay, maybe the first date, maybe a wash. Like, let's see how the next one goes. And he's like, hey, I'm really craving this Mexican restaurant. You want to meet me there? And I'm like, perfect, let's go. And it was the most podunk fucking place again, dude. If you want to give me hole in the wall, you want to give me like fucking sweet Tia in the back who's fucking making the tortilla. No, that wasn't even the vibe. We sat in a fucking small ass booth across from each other. It was sticky. And I'm just there and I already know it's the same thing again. That means the first date, not a fluke. Not a fluke. It was intentional. He has no fucking taste. Again, it is not about eating sustenance. It is about getting to know each other. As I've said before on the podcast, it has a lot to do with how you react and how you respond. What if you got the wrong food? Are you going to freak the fuck out and flip the table over?
Yeah.
Is the server going to mess up on your soda and you're going to be fucking mad about it?
Right.
Is the check going to come and you're going to want me to split it? Again, I'm fine to do that. I was actually talking with one of my coworkers kind of in between the first dates. And, I was like, oh, well, I got he sent me a lift. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. I go, he probably spent $75 getting me there and sending me home.
Right.
And he's like, wow, like, is that an expectation that you have? And I kind of like looked at this kid and I was like, no. And he goes, oh, but he sent you an Uber. And I go, yeah, because he knew that was the only way that we were going to go on that date because I wasn't able to drive my car. And I go, so if you ask me, that's a flex. And so then he goes, oh, well, you guys went to dinner. And I go, yeah. I go, anytime I go out on any date ever, even if we go in a G-Wagon, even if we take the fucking bus, which I would never, I'm still expecting to pay for whatever I order.
Right.
There have been a few videos that have gone viral on social media about like, I think it was a couple girls who went out with all their friends and they met these guys and like they wanted to split the tab 6 ways.
Oh, yeah.
And these girls had ordered like the tomahawk steak and like all of the fucking things. So I told this kid, I was like, I know a lot of people feel like the gentleman should be paying or like feeling like the person who asked should be paying for the meal. I always order with anticipation of paying for myself.
Yeah.
Now, if you're my boyfriend, that's different. Again, I fully believe whoever asks for the date should be the one paying. If I ask you on a date and we go out, bitch, I'm paying.
Right.
I'm not asking you to come pay for me because I can do that shit myself.
Right.
Or I'd rather stay the fuck at home in my jammies and fucking watch TV than be inconvenienced to have to go out and like I can eat at home by myself. I don't need you to drag me out to fucking do it in some dumb restaurant. And then the restaurant in me is starting to freak out because we're sitting there, we're ordering, food just comes out, and they're basically disassembling 5 tables to push them all together because there was a fucking, what looked like a family reunion.
Oh.
Probably 15 people who came and sat next to us. And now at this point, I can't hear you at all. I know I sound fucking crazy when I say this, but for me, if you want to get to know someone, set the scene, figure out where you're going to go. Like we could have gone anywhere and sat on a booth and just fucking talk. That's all I want. I don't need you to feed me. I don't need to go out and eat enchiladas. If I wanted to eat enchiladas, I would do it at home with my hair up in a messy bun where I'd get sauce all over my shirt and I don't care because I'm at home.
Well, you just, these might be great places that he's found for himself, but like, it seems like very casual, like very, like you guys have been dating for fucking 6 months or a couple years and you just want to hop over to this little restaurant to get some sushi or whatever, but not a place that you would like go to impress somebody or like have good conversation. And we talked about that a little bit in the last episode, just like how to plan a good date. Some people just don't know. It's just weird. Like they just want to.
True.
Hey, I want to take this girl to the spot because I think she's going to like the food, but it's not really about the food. Yeah, you want to have good food, but I want to have a good atmosphere where we can sit and talk.
And then later on in life to go on a date with Pete Davidson where he had the fucking forward thinking. He's like, hey, you want to go to this busy ass bar? And I go, And he goes, perfect. I said, I want quiet and like intimate.
Right.
And he goes, perfect. And we went to this tiny fucking little fucking cocktail place and we sat in the corner and we just sat and enjoyed each other's energy. And it was so lovely versus being in a crazy environment where you get a table next to you. And now the whole date is gone.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I'm like, we're not eating some fucking 10-course meal where we're like, wow, this food. Like, I can't hear you. I'm eating. The food was good, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, it had nothing to do with like the food.
Right.
But that's what I've been saying from the beginning. It's like, it doesn't have anything to do with the food. If you're smart, you eat before the date because the date is about conversation, interactions, and environment.
Yeah.
So then we're sitting at that date and it was a Tuesday. And for the most part, for years of my life, I've had Thursdays off. It's the day that during the week when I can go to doctor's appointments, do the things. And so it was a Tuesday when we had gone on this date. And he goes, hey, when do I get to see you next? Like, let's plan something. And I was like, well, I'm off Thursday. And he goes, perfect. Thursday, we're gonna go to dinner.
Right.
And I was like, okay. And I'm pretty sure that was the extent of the conversation. Yeah. So we leave. I'm like, bye. Talk to you later. He didn't walk me to my car or anything. Just goes and gets in his car. Totally fine. We basically like handshake at the door, like, bye. See you later. So for a couple days to have gone by and there was no mention of the date again. Right? Thursday comes up. It's my day off. I had some stuff to do that morning. Wasn't so great. Wasn't having the best morning. I want to say he reached out to me at maybe like noon and was like, hey, how's your morning going? And I was like, great. How's yours? He's like, oh, it's good. I'm busy at work. Nothing, right? That's it. Right. So then I go home and it's my day off. And if there's one thing I fucking cannot stand, it is waiting around for plans that don't happen. If you feel weird, you don't want to hang out, you feel sick, all of the things, and you wake up that morning, tell me in the morning.
Yeah.
If you don't feel good, you feel weird about it as a girl. If you don't want to go on a date with the guy, you feel weird, you got a little tinglies, you kind of feel sick, tell him immediately. Right. Hey, I just woke up. I'm really feeling horrible. Can we please rain check tonight? And then that way you're not bailing on someone. I'd say even bailing on someone 2 or 3 hours before hanging out in general.
Greg and I have had that happen before. We're supposed to have dinner or something. And it's fine if people want to cancel, but like some people did like an hour before, hey, I've been feeling sick all day.
Right.
And I'm like,
it's very
God
that.
Damn it. Mm-hmm. Like,
because you basically map out like your whole day. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to wait around. If we hang out, we'll probably go on a date, maybe like 6 or 7. So I want to say it was probably like 2 or 3. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym. So I'm getting ready to like go check into a workout. And I noticed that my phone has some text messages on it and I don't really acknowledge it. I go work out because I'm in the zone. It's my day off. I really want to be able to enjoy my time. And then when I finally see these text messages, it's very entitled. And I was really kind of confused where it came from because it wasn't like you would text me in the morning, hey, my day's crazy. I can't wait to see you tonight.
Right.
Or even, hey, I'll be free around 6. Give me some kind of landmark in the day so I can be available. What I'm not going to do is just sit on my fucking couch at home at your beck and call.
Yeah.
Wait, as we've learned before, not great. Doesn't work out very well for you, because I wasn't available immediately when he texted me. He lost it.
Yeah.
Like, lost it. It was so bad that I couldn't even carry out with the rest of the things that I needed to get done because I felt so deflated.
Yeah.
He told me that I was disrespectful of his time. Okay. He told me that I wasn't acting like an adult. I can't tell you how many times that he told me that I was grown. You're grown. You should be acting different. We're both grown. You're disrespecting me. You've wasted my time. I rearranged my entire day to see you. I had someone take over my training for this afternoon because I had this date with you. You didn't let me know at all. And it just like snowballed, right? To the point where it could have been, how much longer are you going to be at the gym? Or like, what else
like,
do you have to do?
4:00. Mm-hmm. You guys you didn't have any solid plans. So it's not like, hey, I'm picking you up at 4. And then you're like, oh, sorry, I'm at the gym. It's, hey, we're hanging out at some point. Mm-hmm. We haven't solidified anything. Everything's still in the air. Oh, great. You're at the gym. How much longer are you going to be at the gym? Cool. Can I pick you up after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock? Mm-hmm. Easy.
He lost it.
There's no maliciousness of like, I'm just going to get in a quick workout because it's the fucking afternoon. Who's going? I mean, maybe the taco place he wanted to take you to.
No, that was still later. Yeah, that was still later. It was so bad.
He's like, I have this Chinese restaurant I want to take you to, and they close at 6.
Yeah, I have this very, very, very average place I want to meet you at and waste 2 hours of your time. And then it just was so dumb. So it got to the point where he was speaking so disrespectfully to me. I would say as disrespectfully as you could do in a professional way.
Yeah,
like he wasn't calling me names, but like, you don't have to fucking tell me 15 times that I'm grown. That's disrespectful. And it got to the point where I told him, if you continue to speak to me this way, I'm not going to respond anymore. Right. And the next thing he said was, you're too grown. And I literally, that was it.
But it's like, you're too grown as in like, you're too grown. You're acting like a child.
I guess.
It's so dumb. Like 2 dates. No, I don't even want you copping a fucking attitude. Like even Greg now, it's like, we don't need to get crazy ever. And like, if you're day 3, we haven't even hung out yet and you're already crazy. No, absolutely not.
Not great.
And like all that could have been easily avoided, but it very much sounded like a power play for him to somehow assert some type of dominance. Like you did something wrong.
Correct.
And and then he didn't solidify plans. And we talk about this last fucking episode. You have to solidify plans. If I'm like, hey, bitch, we're going to film a podcast on Thursday. I'm going to check in. I'm not just going to sit at home and get all my shit ready and be like, hey, where are you?
Right.
Like, because you might not be feeling great. You might not be feeling funny today. You might have had a bad day, whatever. But you can't just assume someone's just going to be sitting around waiting for you. Right. And if you didn't tell me what fucking time, I went to the gym. What the fuck? Right. Like you didn't solidify. We're going to hang out at night when the sun goes down. That's usually what happens when you go on a date. I'm just sitting at home waiting for you, BB.
So we had this crazy exchange where he is just throwing all of this negative energy at me that was totally unnecessary. Like, I understand him feeling like I don't value his time. But you also have to acknowledge that there were no fucking plans carved into marble. And so when I get home, because I was so deflated from having to go back and forth to where I'm literally like sitting in my car, not even driving, texting back, because it's just this fucking... He just was fucking texting me so much. So when I got home, it tracks all of our text messages, but my iPad doesn't know that like I've already been responding. Do you want to take a guess at how many messages he had sent me in that heated debate?
No, 50?
86.
Dang.
From, not back and forth, so it wasn't a 40-40 split.
Oh, that's just from him?
86.
Bitch.
That's in maybe like a 30-minute span. 86.
Like... So your argument was the third date. Like he wanted a date with you, but he just wanted to argue with you for
what I
2
think
hours.
it was is this kid has so much money that he thinks that people are just going to lay on the ground for him
I feel like that's very much it. It's like I'm always used to getting what I want. and you did not fall in line with what I'm expecting
Right.
you to do. So now I'm going to be fucking crazy. And then you're either going to submit and then be like, oh, sorry, baby, I'll be on time next time. You know, so then you're submitting to that behavior, or you're just going to fucking fuck off. But most people probably don't, because he's like, oh, I got to watch Balenciaga. Oh my God. And most people are probably like, wow, crap all over me.
And he had mentioned too, like our first date, you know, again, power play with the artist. I didn't know how much money he had. It was long distance. Like he
Right.
could have been a starving artist living in his mom's basement. I didn't know that he had a gajillion dollars, right?
Right.
So for this guy to have him on the first date be like, oh, well, you know, how much do you think your monthly expenses are? And he wasn't like asking me, but he was basically creating a blueprint. And he
Right.
was like, you know, like when it comes to him, like I want to do laundry and take care of my partner. He's like, I want to be able to take care of you. I want to be able to spoil you. And it didn't necessarily feel like he's like jingling like, you know, Mercedes car keys in front of me. It felt very nice because, you know, he's an adult. He's older than I was. It felt very like evenly meshed. But like,
But I feel like guys do that. I feel like that's their play, is they want to be like a support structure, you know, or like, I'll financially take care of you. But, you know, and even with like your artist guy, people always say it's not about money. Oh, it's not about the money. Or I'm not doing this. But like, sometimes I feel like it is somehow in their subconscious. It eventually will come out that it's fucking weird. But I feel like with our dad, we talked about this before, but it's just like, nothing is just given without some type of thing attached
Right.
to it, right? And I think it's hard when you like meet some new guy and he's like, oh, what are your expenses? And you get this idea that maybe this guy's going to like take care of you, that he's maybe stable, got his shit together. But then emotionally,
Immature.
he's broke.
yeah, literally, jeez, it was so bad.
Yeah.
And then that's not even the fucking worst of it. That ain't even the worst of it. So the last text he had sent to me after I told him that he was crossing a boundary,
Right.
the last text was like, you're grown. I won't tolerate this disrespect. And the fucking, if not the next day, the day after, so 48 hours, no. So it was 48 hours basically of no contact. And I get a fucking text message on my phone that says, hey, so do you have this accessory at work?
Oh my God. It's so stupid.
Multi-layer, right? An accessory you could literally just fucking look up on your phone to see if we had it.
I just find it so funny. He's just going to gloss over that whole conversation where he's just a complete butthole. It ends so stupid, right? Where
No
you're-
apology, nothing.
And then it's just like, oh, hey, do you have that thing at work? Like, I get it. He's probably trying to start up a conversation, but like, no.
You start a conversation.
This was your bullshit. You started.
You start a conversation with an apology.
Yeah.
You go, hey, I'm really sorry. Even if you're not sorry for what you did, hey, I'm really sorry for how things went the other night.
Right.
But I went to all of my coworkers and showed them the text and was just like, look at this fucking loser.
Yeah.
And you can scroll up and you can kind of see where, like, obviously I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, hey, don't speak to me this way. Like, I've already apologized. And so I'm just at work and I'm like, look at this dum-dum. We're fighting. And now he's asking me if I have an accessory in store. And my bestie goes, you should have just sent him the fucking link online.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, so savage. I was like, why didn't I ask you that earlier?
Yeah, but also like, that's any type of engagement is he's looking for anything, right? So did you respond after that? Yeah. See, I mean, like, people.
Oh, bitch, that still ain't even the worst of it. That still isn't even the worst of it. You disrespected me. I'm not putting up with that.
Right.
Absolutely not. You yell at me. You don't apologize or even acknowledge the tension.
Right.
And then you ask me about some stupid work shit to try and start up a conversation.
Right.
Nothing. All I am doing is laughing at your fucking ignorance, you dum-dum.
Right.
So then I want to say it was like a week and a half later. Blink, blink, blink. A week and a half later, he texts me, hey, are you good? ? I have been into your work several times and haven't seen you.
That's weird.
Bitch, that's not great. You could have done it and like tried to come in and see me, but also, if you come find me at my fucking job, just because I'm on the clock does not mean I will be nice to you.
Right.
There have been people I've talked to before. It has not happened recently, but who will come find me at my job and be like, oh, hey, how are you? And on God, I looked at one of them and was like, no. Finger out in their face, no.
Yeah.
And one of them went, that's fair. And then turned around and walked away.
Yeah. You don't need to go to anybody's work. It's not cool because you can't like freak out. You know what I mean? You can,
Right.
you know, but like you're at work and you have to be professional, and that person doesn't have a lot of options to leave the situation. Like you can be like, I have to go in the back, but like it's not an even playing field. And then you're just like, hey, did you move? Because I didn't see you at work. Like that's just so stupid.
Mm-hmm. And I've had customers that have hit on me in the past. I refuse to help them. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
If you make me feel uncomfortable, or like you're my customer and you find me on Instagram because my name is spelled really different, that's a fucking no. You come back into the store, I will not help you. I will not even make eye contact with you.
Yeah, I've seen people like different things online where guys will be like, hey, I heard you give your number to the receptionist at the dentist office, so I just thought you looked really cute. And it's just like, bleh. Like,
Oh, like someone who overheard
yeah, they're
your
like,
number.
oh, I overheard
Yikes.
you give your number. Or like, oh, I heard you talking to so-and-so about this thing, and I thought you're really beautiful. And as a girl, it's just got to be like, good God. Although I'm oblivious when people hit on me.
Yeah,
so,
that's just...
but it's different because like, I'm sure I could maybe beat somebody up.
What has been very prominent online recently is whether a girl would rather be in the forest with a man or a bear.
Oh, yeah.
And for guys, it's very hard for them to understand that every single girl's answer is the bear.
Yeah.
Every
Guys
single
are
girl.
fucking shitty.
Girls choose the bear reason because it's obvious.
Right,
a bear is
right.
just going to kill you, and people will believe you if you tell them that a bear attacked you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those are the two answers that girls will give.
Right.
And guys can't understand because as a girl, if you're walking down the street and you hear a little pitter patter
Right.
behind you, you're always on high alert
Yeah,
as a girl.
yeah.
You're always on high
You
alert.
have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are trash, and like, sure, majority of guys are probably fine, right? They're not gonna hit on you or stalk you or whatever. But like, when guys are in love or feel under pressure or sexual tension or being denied access to a thing, guys go fucking crazy. They snap. So if you're like, hey, I want to ask you out, and you're like, no. And they're like, but you're real pretty and I've been thinking about you. And you're just like, no, thank you. Who knows if that guy's going to be like, well, guess I'll chalk that up. Or if they're going to go, I have to kill this bitch, you know, or I have to kidnap, you know what I mean? Like, or I'm going to hit this bitch in the face. Like, who knows? Guys are very unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with men, they have this idea that the world is theirs to conquer, right? Everything is designed for a man. Like, here's a country. It's yours. The salmon in the river is yours. The trees in the forest. Everything is for you. Enjoy. Women are there for you to fuck and conquer. How many can you fucking and get? Like, how many sexual encounters can you get? Like, everything is, it's not designed this way. Well, it is designed this way, but like, men think that everything is for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. But that's just how this system makes them feel.
Right.
I see this thing online where it was like, men used to go to war, and now there's some guy drinking coffee at a coffee shop on his computer, and the thing was like, man, I can't believe men used to go to war, and now it's this, whatever. And it's like, war is fucking stupid anyway, right? These countries are blowing people up. Like, what does that have to do with, like, you just want to sit and enjoy a coffee, or you want to dye your hair pink or paint your nails, and you're like, well, 100 years ago, they used to fight and get blown up. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's just weird that, like, men think that everything is for them. And it's unfortunate because, like, they don't understand that, like, if you're like, hey, I think you're really pretty, can I take you out? And a girl says no, there isn't another avenue for that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if it's like a couple years down the road and you're just like, oh, hey, how you been? Like, I know you said no to me last time, but any chance you would want it? You know what I mean? Like maybe, but when somebody says no, that's it.
Well, it's also
Right?
too is the no, I don't want to go out. No, I don't want to go out on a date with you. And then the immediate response is, oh, do you have a boyfriend?
Right.
And it's just like, no is no is no is no.
Right.
It means
Well, you shouldn't
no.
have to fake that you have a boyfriend. You shouldn't have to fake a reason.
But we do. That's the world we live in.
And you shouldn't have to like grab your fucking pepper spray when you're walking to your car because you're not sure if this dude's going to freak out on you because people don't understand boundaries.
Or like when you go on a date and you send your friend the address and the location and like the exact whereabouts. Because if you die, like you could
I even do that sometimes where I'm like, hey, going to whatever. Well, not anymore, but like, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm going to go do this thing. It's the same as like if you were going to go buy a Nintendo Switch from somebody on Craigslist.
Right.
You know, hey, going to go grab this Nintendo Switch in case I get murdered.
Right.
You know where I was.
I remember when I had my first serious boyfriend, I went for a Christmas present for him where I was buying him a fish tank from some like random fucking location. And I had texted his best friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, best friend, I can't text him, obviously, because this is a gift for him, but he gonna kill you if you let me get killed. So I'm going to tell you when I get there. I'm also going to tell you when I leave.
Yeah. It's funny that people's answer to that question when women say the bear, guys are like, well, I don't understand. I don't. And the people that are like upset that a woman would choose a bear, it's like, well, then you're the fucking problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you should be going, oh,
slow clap.
Yeah. Men are gross and garbagey, but there's also some really great men that aren't gross and garbagey. Mm-hmm. Men are like pieces of dirt and you don't know if there's gold inside or if it's just a cat turd. Mm-hmm. And only the passage of time will tell. You're in there
whether
panning
you
it out.
sparkle or you're shit.
Yeah. But everybody puts on this like, great front, like, oh, I'm a great person. But when you don't have any money, when you're sexually frustrated, when you're arguing all the time and people just don't like each other, like who knows what type of person you're going to be. Mm-hmm. But men are like, why would you choose a bear? I don't actually want to be in the forest with a bear.
Right.
I'm just trying to tell you that men fucking suck. And I would rather just, if I yell loud enough and I pot some pans and shit, maybe the bear run off.
And with a guy, it just draws them in closer.
Yeah.
It just draws them in.
Well, we learned a lot today. We learned about Nike and
the Nike campus.
Yeah. And if you want to like maybe go on a job interview, maybe wear some Nike stuff.
Or just look like you tried at all.
Yeah. Just a little effort. We also learned about your average dining experience date.
God, so awful. It's called pdExes for a reason, right? Just a lot of them are not making it through the vetting system.
Thanks for the content.
Yikes. Yeah, I know. We still have to get the merch. The merch is coming. The thanks for the content.
It's available
shirt.
if you want merch. You can get it. Mm-hmm. But it's just, I always have high hopes for people, especially if you're going on dates and people go on dates. I'm like, maybe this will work out. And then you're just like, nope, you fucking suck.
Well, I think what it is for at least me specifically is girls like the date starts 2 days before the date, right? The date doesn't start when I see you face to face. The date starts from when you ask me on the fucking date.
Yeah.
That is when the date starts. You don't necessarily have to show up with flowers. I would rather you text me in the morning of that day and go, I am so fucking excited to see you. Right. Tonight's going to be great. Let me know if you need to call an audible or if we should do something different. Right. Like, as long as I get to spend time with you, I'll be happy. Don't be creepy and don't send her a fucking weird ass text, but acknowledge her in the morning, depending on what your schedule is. If you know you're going to be awake, early. Hey, I'm off at 5. Can't wait to see. Make some kind of contact about what the plans are going to be later. Because girls just want to feel thought about. Yeah. I mean, people in general just want to feel thought about when they're going on a date. And so don't make me feel like I'm a back burner. And as soon as you get off from work, you're like, oh, man.
Right.
Because how you court me for that date is how you're going to treat me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
If you only want to talk to me on the weekends, that ain't going to fucking work for me.
No.
I need to know that, we can talk at night. I need to know that you're available when I need you for comfort. That's the point. If I'm going to be there and I'm going to soothe every bad fucking feeling you have, you better at least be available to me for some emotional comfort.
Yeah. The date is basically an idea of what all the time we're going to hang out later is going to be.
Right.
Right.
So you want the fantasy.
Yeah.
You want, I want to think about what I'm going to wear to the date.
Just be creative. Go somewhere cute. Like it doesn't have to be knockout. I mean, the conversations can be really good too, but like have some intent, go somewhere cute. Give some options. We talked about this last week. Like give some options and just kind of see where the person's at. Cause we're kind of on the same page, but maybe the person that you're trying to fuck and hang out with likes going to a fair for the first date. You know what I mean? Like who knows?
Ugh.
Yeah. But like some people might want a coffee date. Some people's experiences, they might go, hey, do you just want to do like a walk and talk? So everybody's going to have their thing and don't just listen to us. I mean, we're fucking smart, but like, everybody's different, so find what's going to work for that person.
One of us is married, one of us is also violently single, so it just gets a sliding scale, right?
But like everybody's different, and so just kind of find out what people like. Because you might go like, I want to go on a coffee date, and the person's like, oh my god, he took me out for coffee, and be like, oh my god, he, oh so sweet, and you know.
But you also have to value other people's dating experience and dating history.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who want to go have a coffee date because, like me, you've been trapped at a fucking dinner date that you got Ubered to, that you can't just go to the bathroom and leave. I could have called myself my own Uber or Lyft, but should never get to that point.
Yeah.
So for me, it just kind of depends on the day. It depends on like, I'm going to match your energy.
Right.
Girls in general are either going to tell you exactly what they want or they're going to match your energy.
Yep.
And it's your job to kind of figure out what the scale is. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is to be flexible, to be nice and sweet, because as a Virgo, you want to butt heads with me, I will literally just never speak to you again. I'll just never speak to you.
If you're coming at me second date, third date, anything in the first year with some fucking attitude, I just will stop talking to you. I don't give a fuck. I will hold a grudge. Like, I just like don't care. It's not even worth it for me to reach out.
Right.
It's like one of the people I used to hang out with. It's like, I could give a fuck. Like, if you want to reach out, cool, but like, I could care less. You were shitty to me. You made a conscious decision to be shitty to me. Live with it or fucking apologize.
Right.
But like, I'm not going to be like reaching out because I think we're supposed to have a connection. You were very shitty to me. And you go, should I fuck Ryan over? I will. Well,
made your bed, you're going to lie in it.
I won't be there. And we also talked about the bear and the man in the woods.
The scenario.
That's
if
all.
you haven't seen it, go look it up.
Go check it out. It's interesting to watch men kind of freak out.
It's an interesting social experiment.
Yeah.
It's interesting to give a woman's perspective and yet again, not have a woman's perspective be respected at all.
It's just like men need to listen to what women are going through. And I don't think people realize that fear, what women, I mean, we talk about it a lot on our podcast, but like, I don't think guys actually realize what steps women go through to protect themselves. Like, you can't just be like, oh, hey, random guy I just met, come on over.
Yeah, let me give you my address.
Here, just come on down. Like, there's all these things women have to do, and guys and gay guy, whatever, like everybody. But like, mostly women have to really cover their bases so they don't get attacked or stalked or somebody shows up randomly at your fucking work or house. And then what? So yeah, just everybody should respect everybody. No
what a dream.
Yeah. Just have some intent. Try to, be a good human being. Listen to our podcast when it comes to dating because we have it all figured out.
Yeah. Violently single. Probably still will be by next week. Yeah. We'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, do you have to clap?
Oh, yes. Ooh.
That was a good one.